Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I got another deck profile for you guys today. I meant to get this to you guys days ago, but I apologize. My schedule's been cramped once again. Trying to figure out some stuff for school and all that stuff, but at any rate, I'm back, of course. This time I updated my Monarch deck. I know this has been requested, especially now that Ehther is back at 2. So Monarchs are one step closer to being full power, and with 2 Ehther, the deck's consistency slowly rises. So one thing I do like about this deck is that you don't need an extra deck at all. In fact, this deck can barely use one at all. Like, you don't really need to. It's very low budgeted, so if you're looking for some low budget options, Monarchs are definitely for you. I mean, honestly, this deck should not cost you any more than like maybe 30 to 40 bucks tops. Maybe a little less if you're lucky, but yeah, it's a pretty good deck. I know I got into Monarchs about a year and a half ago just because like I wanted to try them out, see the concept behind them and why they were so good, and I can see like why certain cards were limited at the time. So, but overall, it's a fun deck, and whether or not this is competitively viable, who's to say? I mean, this deck has that potential again, so we'll just have to wait and see how things move on. So anyway, let me go and get started. Playing 3 Erebus. I love this guy. This guy's amazing just because his ability is a Foolish Burial Goods already in itself, and also his ability to bounce back one of your opponent's cards is not a targeting effect, so your opponent's just like, it's a good way to, for non-destructive spot removal, basically, so that way, your opponent can't really, like, protect their monsters. So, pretty good guy, and he also has Self Recursion if he's in your graveyard, or you can recur any of your other Monarch cards if you need him to. So, Erebus, definitely a handy card to run. Playing 2 Ehther, of course, this is probably the best monster in the entire deck. So, like Erebus, it's a Foolish Burial Goods, so it lets you dump your Monarch spell and traps. And also, you can special summon any Monarch with 2,800, basically 2,400 or more attack points, as long as it has 1,000 defense. So 2,800, 2,400 just has to keep that 1,000 defense point mark. And also, you can also summon her during your opponent's turn by banishing one of your Monarch's spell and traps, and you can tribute summon this card, so definitely a great card to bring out. So, and it's just a good way to, grind out your deck, because, you definitely need to get your Monarchs out as quickly as you can. Next, I'm playing one of my personal favorites, the Stalos, the Mega Monarch, mainly because this card is a good way to rip cards out of your opponent's hand and burn them for damage. So, like, if you need something to give you the edge, especially when it comes to time rules, the Stalos is definitely there for you, and just a good way, just to get rid of certain cards out of your opponent's hand. I'm playing 2 Majesty's Fan. Unfortunately, this cannot be special summoned, but it's still a searchable Monarch, thankfully, because, well, it's not really a Monarch, but it's searchable because it has the Monarch stats. So, Majesty's Fiend, I feel like since this format's gone to the point where monster effects are so important, you just need to lock out monster effects entirely. So Majesty's Fiend is definitely the best card to go around. I'm not main decking Vanity's Fiend because it's a brick, and also just because like it's not searchable. It has 1,200 defense, so that's why I decided to just take out this Vanity's Fiend entirely. It is on my side deck, but I think Majesty's Fiend is the better one right now, so I definitely recommend that. And of course, 1 Karaz, the Light Monarch. I have the second one sitting in my side deck as well, just because, I feel like its ability is not as good anymore, especially now that we have Ehther. But if you still feel like you want to run 2 Karaz, by all means, go ahead. It's not a bad card to bring out, especially if you need draw power. But again, I think 1 is more than enough at this point. Alright, so now we're going into the Vassals. I'm playing Triple Udea, your main start of the deck. If you normal summon this card, you can special summon any other Vassal from your deck as long as it has 800 attack with 1,000 defense. And your usual target's mainly going to be Eidos. If this card is summoned, you can have an additional tribute summon along with your normal summon. So Eidos is definitely a great card. Also, if you banish this card from your graveyard, you can special summon back a Dia from the grave, and then now of course you can't loop it. Unfortunately, the effects don't stack. So if you have something to wait on your next turn, definitely a good way to keep moving forward. Next up, playing Triple Mithra. Another good card to start with in case you didn't open up with that Adia. You just special summon this card from your hand. You have to give your opponent a token, of course, but if this card is used for a tribute summon, you get to tribute summon again. So Mithra, definitely a great card. But overall, it's pretty amazing. Alright, so now we're moving on to spells. I'm only running 18 monsters in the main deck, by the way, guys. I'm playing Triple Domain since, the whole point of this deck is to lock out your opponent from using the extra deck, since everyone is very reliant on that these days, so definitely gotta lock them out as long as you control a tribute summon monster. Domain prevents them from accessing the extra deck, but you can't have an extra deck yourself, so that's why you have to run it. Next, we have the main searcher of the deck, Tenacity. Reveal any Monarch with 2800 or 2400 attack with 1000 defense, and you can add any Monarch spell or trap from your deck to your hand. Playing triple Return of the Monarch, one of them is actually in German. Whenever you perform a tribute summon, you can search out your deck, any monster with 2400 or 2000 attack with 1000 defense. So this is how you search out your Majesty's Fiend or any of the other Monarchs you need. Now, when this card came back to 3, I was really shocked, but honestly, it's not doing much, and it's actually pretty good in Dracos and in this deck. So, triple Monarch Stormforth. You could use your opponent's monsters to tribute summon instead of using one of your own. So, Monarch Stormforth definitely a great way to also get rid of like problematic monsters. That way, without destroying them, of course. And I got a bunch of one-ofs here. I got one Pantheism, still at 1. If we can get this at least at 2, I think this will definitely be great. One March of the Monarchs, just to give your tribute summon monsters some added protection. Run Rhoda. Ehther is a warrior type monster, so definitely a great way to search it out. 1 for 1. And of course, Foolish Burial, mainly to send Erebus to the graveyard and, just start, recurring your resources and all that stuff. And for traps, I'm only running 5. Playing 2 copies of Monarchs Erupt. I don't think 3 is needed, just because, you already have cards like Majesty's Fiend in the deck. But Monarchs Erupt is just skill drain, just tribute summon monsters are unaffected by it. 2 copies of the Prime Monarch. This card brings itself back a lot, and it counts as a monster while it's in your grave, so definitely a great card. And it's just free tribute summon fodder basically. And then of course, Escalation of the Monarchs, which lets you tribute summon near your opponent's turn. So definitely needed cards, Alright, so now we're moving on to the side deck. The side deck's, like I said, I'm running Vanity's Fiend on the side, which comes to our next cards. Triple of those. Only if I really need him is when I decide to bring him in, but I don't usually see him too often. Of course, I'm running a second Karaz, Rise of the Mega Monarch, and Caius the Mega Monarch. Next up, triple Twin Twisters. Like I said, Erebus can bring himself back or any other of your Monarchs, so discard fodder is never a bad thing in this deck. So you can even discard cards like the Prime Monarch, if you don't want it in your hand, discard that. It can't be hit with Called by the Grave, thankfully, so Twin Twisters, and boom, your opponent loses spells and traps. For like Thunder Dragon decks, Mind Drain's a good card, even Danger decks in general, because they can't activate from the hand, so that's why I'm running Mind Drain, just shut off all hand effects. It also stops hand traps too, now that I think about it. And triple summon limit. And that's generally it, This deck doesn't really special summon a lot of monsters or anything, it's just all tribute summons, so summon limit, definitely not a bad option to go with. Well, that's all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will catch you guys again next time.